Hi friends, so just like I promised you that I'll come with part 2 of Mark and Sylvia's love story. So today is the day, guys. Grab a glass of wine, a glass of water, some popcorns, juice, anything to keep you company as you enjoy this love story. Yeah, so we're going to be starting from where we stopped last time in part 1. So dear friends, in part 1, we ended whereby Mark traveled to Uganda one final time. Yeah, and this was in 2024, September, to pick Sylvia so that they can come together to America, start their new life as husband and wife. Yeah, arrived. Sylvia had prepared everything because already had her K1 visa, said goodbye to her loved ones, and yeah, the day to travel came. Mark tells you Sylvia did not have any problems going through the US immigration with her K1 visa, so the trip went very well and landed safely in Houston. Mark had arranged a hotel there before, so that's where they spent the first night together in America. So the next day when they woke up, had to drive to Mark's sister and brother-in-law's house where Sylvia was going to meet his family. Mark wasn't nervous at all, because it was the first time, of course, to meet Sylvia. He was very happy. And this is something I have to make clear. Guys, Mark was so proud of Sylvia. If you have been following me here for so long, you can remember that one American guy that always wrote so good things about his Ugandan wife, because he always wrote about Sylvia, that he's very happy, he married this beautiful Ugandan lady, and he's so proud of the African culture and everything that he went through, so that can marry Sylvia. That's Mark, guys. Even I got some comments in part 1, like someone was saying, oh, American guys are so complicated, American guys this, maybe this guy is not saying it all. Before I even go further, guys, whatever Mark shared with you, that's the truth. Because this guy used to write to me even before things went bad. And no day that Mark came and started saying Sylvia this, Sylvia that. No. You see, even when I asked him to share the love story, but Sylvia said no, she's not comfortable sharing her business with the YouTube people or with social media people, we had to respect that. Mark had to respect his wife. Never told me, oh Bella, this late, nothing like that. So you can't come and tell me Mark is not telling it all. I know this story, from the time it was good to the time it went bad. So Mark was so happy, very proud to take Sylvia to his family. So drove and eventually arrived at his sister's house and entered in the house. But immediately, Mark's sister noticed that Sylvia was disinterested in knowing her and any other family member. One thing I can tell you guys, white people are so good at reading someone, even if they don't know you. So that's why Mark's sister immediately noticed that Sylvia wasn't happy, was not actually into it, like getting to know her and exchange some conversation. Yeah, but that was fine because Sylvia was Mark's wife. Even if was not interested, it wasn't that of a big deal to start telling Mark, oh, this lady is bad. And no. They just talked and she was like, she seems not interested in getting to know me. Yeah, so they slept at his sister's place, and then the next morning went together at a family restaurant to take breakfast. So when I arrived at that restaurant for breakfast and then food was brought, The only thing that Sylvia did was to complain about food and said, "You whites don't know how to prepare food properly." I was shocked hearing this. It's true, when you move to a new country, yes, food can be a challenge. Even me, when I arrived here for the first time in Italy, there's some foods I didn't like because the taste is different, Italian food is totally different from Tanzanian food. And I know too, American food is totally different to Ugandan food. But don't offend people's food. There is a way you can express your opinion without offending anyone. Because think about it, Mark went to Uganda so many times, okay? And I know his first time being in Uganda, there are some Ugandan foods didn't like at all. But did he start to offend Sylvia by telling her, "Oh my God, how do you cook your food? Why should you put this in your food?" And oh no. This guy in part 1 said loved matoke so much. Yeah, and the way he was talking about matoke, you can see, yeah, he enjoyed eating matoke, one of the Ugandan dishes. I won't be scared to say it out loud. Sylvia had no manners. Yes, and I got a comment again in part 1, someone saying, "Oh Bella, it's like you're here to blame our own sister because he's a white guy. Like I'm giving Mark a special treatment and I'm here blaming Sylvia." Guys, if our own made a mistake or made mistakes, we have to admit it, okay? So that we all have to learn from this story. I've done so many videos about white men mistreating black women. And by the way, if you're new here, this is the first love story to be shared on my channel of a white guy being mistreated by a black woman, which means not only white guys can be bad, but you can also come across a bad black African woman or any woman of any color. Yeah, so it's not all about men. And even Mark, when we were talking or discussing about sharing this love story, was like, "Bella, it's good you contacted me because I wanted to talk to you about it." Because looking at the videos you have shared on your channel, all of them are white men mistreating black women. This white guy did this to a black girl, but my case is different. And I remember even one time there is another guy who asked me about it. Was like, "But Bella, all the time I see a white man has done this to a black woman." But also as white men, we really go through a lot with your sisters, black African women. Those videos I did of white guys, I wasn't even defending them, because here it's not all about defending who. We are talking of how this lady behaved, and I don't know how someone can defend Sylvia. I really don't know, guys. But anyways, let's continue with this love story, okay? I'm not going to defend her. No. Her actions, I can never justify her actions, really. That's the truth. So after having breakfast where Sylvia, the only thing she did was to complain about American food, had to go back to the sister's house and pick their luggages. Also pick Charlie, his dog. Charlie was staying with Mark's sister because Mark's sister was taking care of Charlie in his absence. So after taking Charlie and taking their luggages, had to say goodbye to the sister, then departed to drive 400 kilometers to his house in the neighboring state of Arkansas. Also, Mark adds that because they had lots of luggages, then there is Charlie, and his car was very small, but managed to wedge Charlie's bed and him in the back seat of the car. So they drove. Sylvia sat in the front seat passenger in a stony silence. After driving 200 kilometers, Mark stopped in a small town along the way so that Charlie can take a break. So, went out of the car, walked Charlie a bit, Sylvia remained in the car. So, after some few minutes, Mark returned to the car. When Mark returned to the car, was shocked to find Sylvia seated in the back seat of the car where Charlie's bed was. And she took Charlie's bed and placed it in the front seat passenger where she was seated before. So when Mark discovered that, had to ask Sylvia, "What are you doing?" "Just drive," she demanded. So yeah, Mark drove as she demanded. Sylvia sat almost in a complete silence for the remaining 200 kilometers until they arrived at his house in Arkansas. So yes, guys, Mark tried to understand her because it's a new environment and all that. Was like, maybe she's acting like that because it's a new country. Yeah, let me give her some time. So 2 weeks later, because remember, she had a K1 fiancé visa, they had to get married. They got married in church, and tells you their wedding was well attended by the family members, personal friends, workmates, and church members. Me knowing what happened after, it breaks my heart. Really, I told you, Mark was so proud, to be with Sylvia. He was so happy to introduce her to everyone. Even having his loved ones attending their wedding was such a beautiful day to Mark. Yeah, the wedding went really well, and after the wedding, Mark tells you Sylvia acquainted herself with the house and soon began taking adult education classes being offered by the school district, while Mark prepared for the necessary documents for her to adjust her immigration status in the USA. Mark says, you see, the K1 visa serves only one purpose, and that is to allow a single entry for the fiancé to enter the United States for the purpose of marriage. The K1 visa is valid for only 90 days, does not give you the permission to work, and cannot be used for re-entry to the United States if the visa holder leaves. So after getting married, when you go to America with a K1 fiancé visa, a new process must begin, which is called adjustment of status for the permanent residency visa or green card, and tells you, yes, it is green in color. So by early December 2024, 6 weeks after their marriage, Mark had completed a mountain of forms and documentation for her adjustment of status, IOS, and sent it off to the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS, along with $3,500 for the processing fee. Now, this takes me to the necklace topic. If you guys remember, in part 1, Mark bought a small gold necklace as a gift for Sylvia, took it to Uganda, but when Sylvia opened it and found out it was very small, had to ask Mark, why is it so small? Couldn't you think of something better? This is the guy that has been spending and is now spending thousands of dollars for your immigration status in America. And some of you are here defending Sylvia. Like, seriously? Guys, no, let's do better, honestly. And leave alone this guy being white. We should also be human. Let us not look Mark because he's American, he's white. Let's look at him as a human being. if this guy really deserved this kind of treatment from Sylvia. A lady that Mark loved so much with all his heart. Yeah, so let's continue. So guys, few days after Mark sending those documents to the USCIS for her immigration status to be adjusted, Sylvia's behavior towards Mark changed dramatically. Mark tells you this is when Sylvia dropped her mask completely and became critical of even small things. For example, now this is Mark giving you an example of Sylvia's critics towards him. Few days after Mark sent the documents to adjust her immigration status to the USCIS. Why aren't you exercising more? This treadmill, is it there as the decoration of the house? Maybe, just maybe, if you used it more, you could have lost weight. What do you think? Then talks about the dishwasher. This dishwasher does not wash the dishes properly. You should start washing the dishes by your hands, because I'm not doing it. This is why I was telling you guys, I was so ashamed. And I told you, let us not treat Mark because he's white American guy. Even if he was a fellow black guy being treated like that, no, I wasn't going to be proud of it. I wasn't going to say, oh, what you did is good. Not at all. And when Mark was telling me all this, I asked myself, how did this lady grow up? I'm a proud African. Yes, there's some African traditions that I don't agree with, okay? But there's some traditions or culture that I'm so proud of. A girl child being trained by the mother or the elders on how to behave, especially when you get married, on how to behave even with adults. Like in Uganda, there is kneeling down. I don't know if it is still there, but I know you kneel down when you greet someone elder than you or someone that you really respect, like your husband. That is how ladies are trained. In Tanzania, we have a certain greeting where you can greet someone who is your age mate and someone who is older than you. So your age mate, you'll just say mambo or mambo VP, okay? But someone who is older than you, your parents, someone you respect, you will say shikamo, but you can never say shikamo to someone that is younger than you. That greeting is there because of the respect. That's our culture, our traditions, how we do things. So the way our sister behaved, even in this situation, it is mind-blowing, knowing how we Africans are. That's not how we behave at all. Yeah, but it's so sad. It's really, really sad. I felt so bad. I was like, this girl has no shame. This guy is even older than her. Leave alone being a husband, is older than her by 20 years. So the respect was supposed to be there. So she continued being critical towards Mark. I closed these bedroom doors for a reason, and now you reopened them. That dog, you remember, Mark has a dog by the name of Charlie. So Sylvia could be like, that dog shouldn't be swinging around the house all day. He gets his hair all over the house. It's disgusting. Okay. I'll talk about the dog thing later. Let's continue. So as it was December, Mark's family is in Texas. So due to that, suggested they should go to Texas and spend Christmas holidays with his family. Sylvia was like, fine, no problem. So the day came, they prepared, and when they were about to start, Sylvia insisted as always to ride in the back seat of the car, as if Mark was his chauffeur. But he said, okay. Sylvia sat in a near silence the entire way, she rarely spoke. So eventually arrived in Texas at his sister's place, and Mark tells you she spent little time communicating with his family, mostly stayed in the guest room alone with the doors closed. Is that how we behave, guys? Because you are here, some of you are here defending her. Is that a correct way of behaving? Because, okay, I know, it can happen. You can use someone to go abroad, because some ladies, for some reasons, which I don't agree, I don't support, you use these white men as a ladder to go to Europe, to go to America, abroad, to do life. And let's say, yes, Sylvia, that was her plan, maybe to use Mark to get to America. But why do you go ahead and start mistreating this person? Why? What was the reason for that? And start disrespecting him? Guys, I'm ashamed. I'm really ashamed because of her actions. So they say that his sister's place, and tells you in his family, they have this tradition. On Christmas mornings, they open the gifts and distribute to everyone, one by one. So on Christmas Day in the morning, woke up, and it was time to distribute the gifts, share the gifts. Even here in Italy, that's how it is. So when they started distributing the gifts, Mark tells you had bought a very beautiful sweater that knew Sylvia would like it. That was his Christmas gift to Sylvia. So they distributed all the gifts, but there was no gift from Sylvia to Mark. Something that really hurt Mark deeply, because that was their first Christmas together in America. Tells you the two Christmases, 2022 and 2023, when Eva could go to Uganda to spend Christmas with Sylvia, Sylvia could have a Christmas gift for him. Now he asked himself, why not in America? And Mark never expected a very big gift from Sylvia, not at all. Thought was going to just buy something simple, because it's the gesture that matters, guys. That you care about your man. And Mark says when they were arranging the gifts in Arkansas, he's the one that packed the gifts in the car, never saw any gift. So in his head was like, I think Sylvia communicated to my sister, and my sister bought the gift in Texas, so there will be a gift for me. But that wasn't the case. This girl never bought any Christmas gift for Mark. So friends, because Mark was deeply hurt due to that, had to confront Sylvia in the kitchen, express how he felt that in Uganda, yes, on Christmas, could gift me something. But why our first Christmas together here in America, no? Tell me. And guess her reaction. This girl looked at Mark and was like, what? Why are you acting childish, Mark? Grow up already. You are so foolish and childish. I wish I hadn't come here, exclaimed. Oh my God. What a way of spending the first Christmas together. It's so sad. And it really hurts, guys, when you have that genuine love. You feel like you could talk to someone you love, but instead of understanding you, they throw words at you, they offend you, or gaslight you. So the next day returned to Arkansas, and again Sylvia sitting in the back seat of the car in a complete silence. Also the sweater, the beautiful sweater he had bought for her on Christmas, Sylvia never wore, even once, that sweater. He thought she would like it, but surprisingly, no, that's not how it turned out to be. So at home, Mark tells you Sylvia became more annoyed with his little dog, Charlie. And one day, this shocked me too. So Sylvia putting a spicy hot sauce on Charlie's food, the dog food. When Mark saw Sylvia, asked loudly, "Sylvia, what are you doing?" But what Sylvia did? Just looked at him and walked out of the kitchen. So this was a big red flag, guys. A big red flag. Someone that can poison a dog, someone that can be violent to an animal, that person is dangerous. Very dangerous. Watch all the documentaries talking about the serial killers, how it all started. You will hear it started when the boy was young and started killing animals, maybe cats or dogs. But something else that I was angry at is that this girl, yes, where we come from in Africa, like the big part of Africa, in most African countries, how most Africans view dogs or cats, not all, but most, it's totally different to how white people see dogs or cats. I was one time in the hospital. I'll tell you one day, I'm planning to, yeah. So one time I was at the hospital and I saw something called a dog therapy, dogs being brought to see kids in the hospital, as therapy, to give them company. I have seen like very old people who are lonely, like very lonely. They don't have anyone. They stay with their dogs, with their cats. They are everything to them, like their kids. They give them company, happiness. So it really hurts to see Sylvia like trying, to harm Charlie. It really hurts, guys. It hurts me. Because that dog is very important to Mark. And she knew from the start that Mark had a dog. So if you don't like dogs, you don't like pets, which is normal, guys. Some people are not pet friendly. Why should you go for a man that has got a dog? Why? Why should you date him? Why should you go ahead and marry him? Even move to his country, then try to harm his little dog? The dog that was there for him all times. Good and bad times. Sorry guys, I got so emotional because it's too much. I'm someone who believes in humanity. So when I see someone doing something that is inhuman, it really touches me a lot. I'm like that. It might be different to maybe some of you who is watching this video, but this is how I am. Yeah, so Mark was super upset of what he saw Sylvia doing. So in February 2025, Mark decided to drive to Texas, take the little Charlie with him to rehome him permanently at his sister's place. Yeah, because Sylvia could not support anymore Charlie being in the house, and continuously told Mark, you have to take Charlie to the local animal shelter and leave him there because I don't want him in the house. And Mark tells you what he thinks it's because Sylvia wanted to demonstrate control and domination. A real narcissist. So that same February, Sylvia received her work authorization card and luckily, a few weeks later, got a job as a cashier at a local hamburger restaurant. But still complained about the hours and the low payment, but seemed to like her co-workers. So Sylvia used to go to work using a taxi due to the conflict of working hours with Mark. But Mark tells you when finished her shifts, Mark normally was able to go pick her and bring her home. This is a responsible husband. You know, this story hurts me knowing how the world out there is full of cruel people. I one time gave you an example of a lady that called me one time, was crying, like maybe lost someone, and was trying to explain to me how the husband abandoned her at 3 a.m. in the Roman streets in Rome, alone, no Uber, no buses at that time, and couldn't afford even to pay a taxi to take her home. Was calling the husband clearly said, "I'm not coming to pick you." And this guy knew that the wife had that shift, but never wanted even to help her, until the policemen that were passing around saw her, were scared for her. Like, what are you doing here, a lady by yourself at night at this hour? And that's when she explained, and they drove her home. So that's the lady that got married to an irresponsible husband. So don't come and try to tell me, oh, Mark is not saying it all. Not at all. This is a responsible husband. A man that will pay for your taxi to go to work every single day. Guys. And then adds that the 9 months that Sylvia worked at that restaurant, 100% of her earnings sent it back to Uganda, never contributed financially to their family. It's not that Mark wanted 50-50 with Sylvia, not at all, okay? I don't do 50-50, but sometimes, because I work, I can chip in, you know, buy something if it doesn't cost a lot. Of course, I can chip in and be like, I'm taking that. Though when it comes to my husband or Italians, like Italian men, they don't like to spend women's money. So if you want to chip in, you still have to argue, like, let me do it. He's like, no, keep your money. Let me do it. No, keep your money. Yeah, it's like that. So Mark never wanted any 50-50, but at least, you know, you started working, you know, do something little. Even if it costs $20, $30, chip in, you know, to show the support. We are a team. But it's just like I'm dreaming. Due to how this girl was behaving, there is no way was going to contribute anything to the marriage. Yeah. So guys, Mark takes you back that in 2022, when was in Uganda to visit Sylvia, Sylvia frequently spoke of opening several shops in Kampala, Uganda. But then Mark tells you that Sylvia had zero business experience and her ideas were impractical and downright delusional. So soon after Sylvia arriving in America, began accumulating her inventory from the local second-hand stores for her future shops using his bank card. And to keep the peace, Mark tells you, went along with it for a while, until it wasn't long before there were plastic bins filled with clothes, shoes, housewares, scattered all around the house, in the living room, in the kitchen, and in the bedroom of the house. In 8 months, she had purchased close to $20,000 for her inventory. Jesus Christ. You know, when Mark wrote to me, it was like, Sylvia has bought 5,000 pairs of shoes. I was like, are you saying 500 or 5,000? He was like 5,000 pairs. I'm like, what? And she used my bank card. I told him, stop her, don't allow that. Why are you allowing all that? But he wanted peace, thought maybe it could bring peace. Maybe it could make their marriage work. So the whole house was full of shoes, clothes, and housewares. Remember, this is the same girl that chased away little Charlie from the house, that he's leaving his hair all around the house. But now it is her leaving all her inventory all around the house. Okay, let's continue, guys. I'm boiling. So one day, Mark decided to ask her, sit her down and ask her, but my wife, Sylvia, all this thing you're doing doesn't make any business sense at all. You see, this pair of black boys' school shoes will cost the equivalent of 15,000 Ugandan shillings here in America. But to sell it in Uganda, or how they sell it in Uganda, they're going to sell it at 45,000 Ugandan shillings. So you're not going to make any money out of it, It's a loss already, because you're not factoring the shipping costs of all these beans to Uganda. You're not thinking of the custom duties. In Uganda, the Ugandan custom duties, they're going to charge you. Plus, you're not thinking of the cost of opening and running the shops in Uganda. You're going to lose a huge amount of money. You will not make any profit. After Mark saying all that, like trying to advise her, what did she do? Looked at him and snapped. Told him, just wait and watch. You will see, this is going to make me rich. So last time when I was saying this girl, Mark told us she studied psychology and family counseling, but her reasoning, no. Her reasoning is telling me something else. Yeah, honestly. So guys, by July 2025, only 9 months after they married, they no longer having marital relations. Sylvia refused him at bedtime, could bury herself in the bed sheets, and turn away from him. So yes, they were not having the goodies at all, as husband and wife should. But then this girl became intensely secretive of her phone, was always talking to someone on the phone or texting. But Mark didn't know whom was she texting, whom was she talking to, because most of the times could be talking in her language, the language that Mark never understood. And at first thought maybe he's talking to, her Ugandan friends, because at the embassy in Nairobi, guys, I saw you saying, oh Bella, it's a lie. Uganda has American embassy. Yes, it's true. There is an American embassy in Uganda, Kampala. But at the time Sylvia was applying for her K1 fiancé visa, they were not issuing the K1 fiancé visa. That is why Sylvia had to travel to Nairobi, Kenya. If they do now, I do not know. Okay? Stop being too negative and rushing to, you lied. It's a lie. Yeah, try to understand, why did she say that? Maybe there could be a reason. So Sylvia had told Mark that met two Ugandan ladies who were also going to America, and apparently these ladies were like, as soon as they arrive in America at the airport, they're going to drop those guys that brought them right at the airport. And I was like, what? You went with the K1 visa and then you want to leave the guy that brought you to America, live illegally. It's crazy because that is making your life very difficult. But when you're coming from Africa, it is hard to understand that your life will be complicated if you have to live illegally in a new country, let it be America or Europe. So many challenges. And like Sylvia, who wanted to be rich, or these ladies who wanted, that American dream, it can be very difficult to achieve that American dream living illegally, because you must get a good paying job to live that American dream. How will you get that dream job living illegally in America? It doesn't make sense, okay? Yeah, so thought maybe was chatting to those ladies, kept on like thinking, whom is she talking to? But did not get an answer. And a lot happened, guys, that some things Mark did not write them, was like, these are the most important things that really happened, but exist more other stuffs that happened. Because I remember this incident when he told me sometimes Sylvia could be in the room maybe doing something and could want maybe to talk to her. He's in the sitting room, so could call Sylvia, and this girl could respond, "You again, now what?" This guy suffered. Yeah, really, it's not a good situation to find yourself in, especially with the person that you brought in your house. It's your house, but then you're living with a stranger and an enemy. So one day, Mark tells you, noticed that Sylvia had placed an order of sexy nightwear items and lubricant. And when I heard that, I was like, what? I hope this is not what I think. Why buy lubricant? For what? Anyways, Mark had to ask about them. And she was like, you remember that my Ugandan friend back in Uganda that I told you got married? These are her wedding gifts. Like, seriously? You gift your friend a lubricant and sexy nightwear? It doesn't make sense, guys. And then went ahead and told him, but why is it any of your business anyways? But girl, you used his Amazon account, his money, to purchase those things. And now you're asking him, why is it of his business? Like, seriously? So 2 weeks after she purchased those items on Amazon, the lubricant and the sexy nightwear, saw her walking out of the side door with a backpack on her shoulder and asked her, "Are you going somewhere, Sylvia?" Then was like, "Yes, I'm going to visit a friend. I'll be back tomorrow." Left. And did that again after 2 weeks. At that point, Mark suspected that she must have a boyfriend, which later confirmed, guys, because one day saw someone knocking on his door, and when opened, there was this young guy in front of him asking if Sylvia was in the house. And then Mark was like, "Who is Sylvia to you?" Then the guy responded, "My girlfriend." Then that's when Mark told him, "Did Sylvia tell you he's married?" "No, I didn't know anything like that." Then the guy left. Mark remained shocked. And I was shocked too when I heard of that. I was like, this girl is so lucky that dealt with a very calm, godly American guy. Because one thing I forgot to tell you is a guy that believes in God. Mark goes to church. What can I say about this man? I'm not saying he's perfect, but Mark is a good guy. A good guy that most ladies will want to be with. But unfortunately, met a wrong woman. Yeah. So this girl really dealt with a very good guy, calm one, God-fearing. Because if dealt with a crazy American guy, if she tried this with an Italian guy, it could be a different story. Sylvia could be normal. I'm telling you guys, Sylvia could be no more, because an Italian guy will invest in you, will do anything for you, will love you, will adore you, will be obsessed with you. Betray him, you will know his true colors. Yeah, so let's continue, guys, and get to end this sad love story. So around September, this is when the news arrived to me of what was happening, and that's when Mark opened up and told me what was happening. But at first, Mark thought this is how African women behave when they are married to white men. So I was like, Bella, I want you to, clarify things here. I don't understand. Maybe it is normal, My wife has been acting 1, 2, 3, 4, and right now says wants to go back to Uganda in November because can't stand the cold. Arkansas is very cold for her. She just wants to go to Uganda for 5 months for a reset away from winter. And I was like, what? Mark, no, that is not how we behave. And I even gave him an example. My husband was born in an island, a very beautiful island called Sicily. The weather is always good, hot throughout the year. Compared to where we stay here. We stay here because of work, okay? Yeah. It's cold. We are under the Alps mountains. A very beautiful city too, but winter can be really harsh, guys. I can't lie to you, but I've got used to it. And I told Mark, due to that, I come from a hot country, Tanzania. Yeah, it's very, very hot. But coming here, it was very hard for me. It's very cold. But I couldn't tell my husband, okay, I'm going back to Tanzania. It's very cold for me. This is the life that I chose to live. He's the man that I chose, to marry. My life is here, not in Tanzania, okay? So I have to adjust. Yeah, integrate, accept my life, my new life. And that's what was expected of Sylvia. But this girl is like, no way. I can't stand this. I must go. So I told Mark, no, that is not how things are done. This is not how we do things. African women, we don't behave like Sylvia at all. Yes, you'll find the type of like Sylvia, but not every Black African woman. So November came, and that's when Sylvia had planned her trip to go back to Uganda. Who was paying for her ticket? Mark. And insisted or demanded on taking 6 full suitcases full of gifts and all other stuffs. Remember the things she had bought, told Mark, you must send them with a cargo to Uganda. So Mark tells you those 6 full suitcases, the overweight baggage charge was $900, which is equivalent to 3.2 million Ugandan shillings. And me thinking about it now, me, and any lady watching this video, you live abroad, you work so hard, could you take 6 full suitcases as gifts to your family normally? Like, now we are talking of normal life with this economy. No, this girl did this because it wasn't her money. And this is how we make people back home believe that we are living that luxury life. Everything is rosy. When you go to America, there is money. Maybe there is someone else, is a neighbor, and when comes back from America, comes with little things, and now relatives are starting to say, you see, Sylvia, when she came, brought 6 full suitcases of gifts. What are you doing? Maybe you married a third-class white guy. That is why you can't bring enough gifts. They talk due to people like Sylvia. And Mark was like, the amount of money she used to buy those gifts and even pay for overweight charge, that money could have bought those same things in Uganda half of the price, even less than that, even less than a half. But yeah, the girl succeeded, took all those 6 full suitcases full of gifts back to Uganda to enjoy, her reset time. Because we had talked and had shared with me his intentions of filing for a divorce, because that was the right thing to do. You can't live with such kind of a person treating you in that kind of a way. Yeah, so eventually in her absence filed for a divorce, and Sylvia came back in January 2026, briefly came to Arkansas, picked some of her things and left, went to live with her friend in Chicago, where she is right now as I am making this video. So the divorce got finalized in May 2026, and Mark gave me the news. I was like, at least this nightmare has come to an end. But it ended badly, guys. Very, very badly. Because Mark tells you this is not the whole of the story, but these are some of the major events of his unfortunate 11 years relationship with Sylvia. He adds by saying Sylvia is deeply controlling, manipulative, grandiose, narcissistic, and cruel, which is very, very true. Through this whole story, you have heard how I have narrated everything that Mark said. Sylvia is really cruel, and it's not a secret. Is narcissistic. Mark says Sylvia has destroyed him both emotionally and financially, because 5 years ago, Mark had about $140,000 in cash and investments in the bank. Today, guys, all is gone. Sylvia has left him with $30,000 in debt that he has to pay to the bank. Isn't this girl a scammer? She is a scammer. Yes, is our own. And I'm ashamed to say this is a scammer. How can you destroy someone's life like that? Imagine Mark's life now. A man that worked so hard to earn his money and lose it just like that. Because the house that Mark built in Uganda, the house that they agreed on, that when it's time for him to retire, he will go to Uganda, retire there with Sylvia, live in that house. That girl bought the lands, wrote her names. Even that house, the title deed, is in Sylvia's name. No Mark's name anywhere. Which means Mark cannot even say that house is his. Wow. I don't know. I don't know what kind of a heart can someone have to do such a thing. Yeah, but it is the way it is, guys. So Mark was like, the person that Sylvia pretended to be in Uganda is completely different with how she is, the real her, and sincerely regrets writing to her on that dating site. And I totally understand him. Yeah. For those that were saying, oh Bella, this guy wasted her time, 7 years, it's too much, writing. She was in a position to choose. Nobody forced her to keep on pushing, keep on chatting with Mark. And I always advise you guys, you're chatting with a guy, it's been 3 months, this guy is not saying anything about meeting, you are allowed to end that relationship. Don't waste your time. And do not take an advantage of someone just because he chatted with you for so long. Someone else talked of the age. Oh, it's because the guy is older than her and this girl never wanted someone older, wanted a young guy. We agree, like, people have different choices. Some ladies would prefer to date someone older. Some ladies would prefer dating someone who is younger than them or their age mates. No one forced Sylvia, okay, to date Mark. It wasn't a secret. She knew how old is Mark. She knew, guys, but the way this girl behaved can never love anyone. This girl was in America and told Mark, by the way, yeah, I forgot to tell you this, told Mark, I didn't come here to play, I came to become rich. I must get rich. God will deal with you. I don't want to say a lot, but God will deal with you, Sylvia. What you did is so wrong. Very wrong. And I hate it. And before I end this video, when I started part 1, I told you we need to ask Mark if he still believes in love. Mark responded to me and was like, yes, Bella, I still believe in love. And I wish one day to find that true love, genuine love, someone to love me for who I am. But for now, I should concentrate on healing and my relationship with God, which I agree. And this answers your question. I got lots of DMs. I got emails on Facebook. You guys wrote to me. Here on YouTube, I saw your comments. Some of you saying, Mark, I am here. You know, you can date me. Oh, Bella, give me Mark. I'll treat him very good. I am genuine. Guys, Mark is not in a position to date anyone right now, okay? Let us give him time to heal, okay? Maybe one day we'll come with his success love story, you know, and be like, yeah, finally, Mark has found that true love, that genuine love, you know, a woman that truly loves him and he truly loves her. I saw a comment, someone saying, oh, Mark, go for the age that is maybe close to you or your age mate. But in this situation, a good woman will be a good woman. Whether you're dating someone older or you're dating someone younger, the age difference shouldn't make you treat someone bad, shouldn't make you take advantage of people. Remember, at some point, we will all get old. So friends, I'll read to you lesson learned so that you get to hear what he learned from this and you also get to learn from what he learned from the whole experience dating Sylvia, marrying Sylvia as a whole. Yeah, so he says, so what have learned from this experience? For both African women and Western men, these are essential. Number 1, establish strong boundaries. You are your best guardian. Decide what you are willing and unwilling to do with that other person. If the other person does not respect your boundaries, then they don't respect you. When Sylvia began pressuring me to begin sending her funds for land purchases and house construction materials, I should have said, wait just a minute. Let's negotiate this. I don't feel comfortable in doing this now. Lesson number 2. If your intuition is telling you that something is off, that is a red flag. Don't ignore it. If you are pretty sure that he or she is lying to you, even just a little lie, that is a red flag. Little lies now will become big lies later. Very true. When I knew that Sylvia was lying to me about the Airbnb in Kireka, I should have spoken up and said, hey, that does not make sense, Sylvia. The company Airbnb says that the host has a very good reputation. I feel like you are being evasive and not telling me the truth. Lesson number 3. Don't be rushed into something. I have always said this, guys, not to be rushed, because you know what's best for you and you know what you want in life. So Mark 2 repeats this by saying, do not be rushed into something. Sylvia was wanting to rush me into sending her the money to buy land and house construction materials because she knew that this relationship was a short term. Very true. We have all witnessed that. She never intended our relationship to be long term, so she needed to get those funds as quickly as possible. Sadly, guys. Lesson number 4, never share your financial information. You will only make yourself a target for a scammer like Sylvia. Similarly, do not overshare information about your inner secrets, your dreams, etc., etc. Because this is like a catnip to someone who does not have your best intentions at heart. Lesson number 5. Listen to your family and friends. If your family and friends are concerned about this other person, listen to them. My family and friends told me, wow, what she is doing is a big red flag. Are you sure about this? I didn't listen. Number 6, which is the last one, don't engage in wishful thinking. I was very lonely and vulnerable. I wanted the fairy tale relationship. This breaks my heart to be true. I repeat, guys, I was very lonely and vulnerable. I wanted the fairy tale relationship to be true so badly that I was willing to ignore the red flags until it was too late. Okay, this is not all about Mark. I know so many ladies, guys. I talk with, I can say hundreds and hundreds of ladies, single ones, and you hear their pain, how they talk to you. Bella, I feel so lonely. I wish I could have someone. Sometimes you see a lady is ignoring red flags and you're trying to talk to her like, please don't ignore those red flags. I know you're desperate. I know you really need someone, but don't let it be the reason why you're gonna suffer in future. You'll find yourself in trouble. So Mark was very vulnerable and very lonely. Loneliness can be so bad. It's so bad, guys. I was there and I've always told you, I was there. I know how it feels. It touches me because at some point, yes, I was very lonely. I was very vulnerable. I wanted someone by my side. And I thank God that eventually God brought a right man by my side and not a bad man. But sadly for Mark, a bad woman came into his life. Yeah, so let's all take his lessons, his advice seriously so that we don't fall into the trap like the one Mark fell into. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. It's just that I feel bad. I feel bad about this. And even when I heard of this, I couldn't sleep that day. My husband kept on asking me, what is happening? Tell me, try to talk to me. And I opened up and I told him about that. Then my husband was like, if you happen to talk to Mark, tell him that for some moment he gave me depression. Like the story gave me depression. yeah, I was so sad. And I'm still sad of what happened. I keep Mark in my prayers. Yeah. So those are his lessons, guys. So friends, we have reached to an end of our today's video. Thank you so much guys for watching till now. I appreciate much. May God bless you. Give this video a thumbs up if you have liked it. Share it with your friends, family, everyone that you think will enjoy this video and learn something. Watch my other videos too. They are super good. You will learn a lot. You know what guys? I love you so much. You're always here in my heart. Let us meet in my next video. Ciao, ciao.